take it. And the cup is more than half full now. If you love him, you live it right. So give her your love and the cup will full. Your sky could never gray. Doubt can wax my way. Sun, it shines up above. From out the darkness comes your love. Into the world it brings some light.
When I was with the doctor and he told me you have cancer, I thought all bad things. He said, hey, wait a minute, we are on time. It's early detection. Detección temprana. Es tan importante para las mujeres ir con el doctor cada 6 meses, cada año, estar yendo y checándose con el ginecólogo, porque si encuentran, si detectan que tienen cáncer, van a estar a tiempo para curarlo. Early detection, thanks to that, it was not necessary to go to chemo. Yes, I had cancer, but it could be worse.
I am a breast cancer survivor, a blood cancer survivor.
I'm Dr. Holly Lucille, a naturopathic doctor.
I am a mom of a teenager, a basset hound owner, a military wife.
My name is Dr. Deanna Atai, and I'm a breast surgeon.
I am a cancer survivor who is looking for answers just like you.
I'm Deborah Tripathi. I'm a medical oncologist.
What works, what doesn't? Welcome to Thrive with Namrata. Barbara Mori, my beautiful, beautiful Mexican actress friend Barbara Mori. And Barbara brings up such a great point, early detection and cancer. And also, which brings us to another point that some of you may not have heard of, but I learned about for the first time when we got a question from Mumbai, actually, about lead time bias. So I'm going to start with Dr. Debu Tripathi. What is lead time wet?
Well, any kind of bias means that the way you're making an observation may distort the truth. So for example, if you're looking at an imaging, a screening technique, and you find people that are diagnosed with cancer live longer with that screening technique, it may be that the people that didn't get the screening technique also had cancer at that time, but they don't get diagnosed till later. So it looks like they have a shorter survival time from when they're diagnosed. That's an example of lead time bias. So it has to be built into the analysis of any study, especially those that are looking at screening technologies.
So Deanna, let me ask you, so is there merit to getting diagnosed early and just knowing for a longer time that you were diagnosed with cancer? If you have a cancer that is going to, eventually it's all going to end up at the same place, then do you really want to find out early?
I think there definitely is an advantage to early detection and early treatment. However, what we are really learning now and really getting a good understanding of is it is oftentimes more about the biology of the cancer, what's going on in the individual cells, rather than the size of the tumor when it was diagnosed. Now, having said that, oftentimes quality of life is much better in patients that are earlier diagnosed because they may not have to go through as aggressive treatment. But early detection, unfortunately, doesn't always equal cure, and sometimes the outcome is the same. I would still rather, if it were me, have my cancer diagnosed in an earlier stage and hopefully be able to go through a little less aggressive or a little less toxic treatments.
So let me throw this out to all of you. Do you think lead time bias, Debu, how much weight would you put on that?
Well, I want to emphasize that all of the mammography trials that have been interpreted and presented and published actually have already taken lead time bias into account. They have looked at survival from the time of randomization, if they're getting mammograms or not. And we do know that early detection does save lives, but it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of over-treatment because some of the cancers we diagnose may not need to have been treated or maybe not treated as aggressively. So we end up over-treating some people. However, in the balance of things, I do believe that early detection is important. I would also say that we need better tools for early detection. But even with mammography, which is a relatively crude but still partially effective tool, I still believe in it, and I still advise patients to be aware of their breasts and to get screening. At what age they should start and how often they should get it, I still think is up for debate. But I do think that screening is helpful.
Holly, you wanted to chime in?
Yeah, I think one of the arguments, as you said, over treatment is is a consequence of early detection, because especially from the naturopathic view, okay, the vitalistic view is that our bodies have an innate ability to heal themselves, right? They're always trying to come back into balance, just as in nature. And so with that, when we have a diagnosis of cancer, if it's detected early, we don't know where the body is at and actually fighting. It's doing its job. And I think that's really, really important. Because also, you know, I think early detection, certainly the studies have been there as far as survival and outcome, but I think encouraging people to get familiar with their bodies, not having to obsess on either avoidance of some screening tests and or just utilizing them over and over and over again, but really getting familiar with their bodies, teaching people to do self-breast examinations, understanding any moles on the skin that have changes, all that education for people to take better care of themselves, empower them to sort of take back power over their own health by having that knowledge, I think is really, really important.
Thank you. So what I'm taking away from that as a cancer survivor is, don't drive yourself crazy, but it sounds to me like early detection is a good idea. It can't hurt. It may help. So if there's lead time bias, there's lead time bias. But if you feel that there's something wrong with your body, and assuming that you know your body, which means start to learn to listen to your body, then that's why you have doctors. You go in, talk to a doctor, and hopefully it's nothing. But if it is, you can catch it early. And we'll catch you on the next episode.